In Gaza and Lebanon, Israel has launched one of the deadliest attacks seen in a single day, with dozens killed in raids across northern Gaza and 5 Lebanese governorates. Meanwhile, the COP29 opens today in Baku, gathering nearly 200 nations to address global climate issues amid political tensions. In Riyadh, the Arab-Islamic Summit convenes, aimed rather to unify regional efforts against Israeli aggression and mobilize international action to protect the Palestinian and Lebanese people. But first, let's examine the latest developments in Gaza. Welcome to In Focus. The Washington Post has brought attention to the savage Israeli strikes, focusing on the death toll among children. It said the Israeli airstrikes killed dozens of people, including at least 20 children. The paper detailed how a strike in the northern Gaza Strip hit family homes in the besieged Jabalia refugee camp, sparking an hours-long rescue effort to find survivors and retrieve the dead. According to the report, the lethal attack came ahead of a U.S. deadline this week for Israel to improve aid access to the north, which the United Nations warns is facing imminent famine. But with Washington looking at an extended period of political transition after Donald Trump's election victory, it is unclear how much leverage the Biden administration still has over Israel. Providing more analysis regarding the current updates about the latest escalations in the Middle East, joining us from Amman is Omar al-Bustanji, a researcher in international relations. Mr. Omar, a very good day, and it's a pleasure to have you on our show. Sir, what signals are Israel sending by continuing to commit massacres in Gaza and Lebanon?
Good evening. To start with the and for you, the viewers. With respect to the signal that Israel sending, and I think that Netanyahu's government is trying to optimize the political issues taking place in the U.S. following the U.S. elections, and due to that Trump is taken to the post on the 20th of January. And I think it is period that and the far wing is trying to extend the war to a comprehensive war, and I think that the timing of the Arab Summit is very accurate to underestimate and closing the door before the Israeli government in escalating the region through destruction, killing children and displacing the fleet. There are messages through which the Israeli government to escalate the situation into a comprehensive war. He's leveraging the support of the United States through which it's trying to achieve their goal.
Sir, how do you read, in your opinion, what are Israel's future plans for Gaza and Lebanon, and will it change these plans after Trump's win, sir?
With respect to the current situation, Israel is trying to lead in the region to a comprehensive war in order to involve the US to enter the war directly. But I think that President Trump is trying to put an end to the war for several considerations, starting that in reaching the presidency by the support to the Arab voters. And due to the genocide taking place in the Palestinian territories, and in addition to the resentment by the Americans for the war in Gaza as considered as an immoral one. In addition, that Trump is well known that is preferring to direct in one front, not in several fronts, and among its priorities to stop the Chinese extension economically. And I think that President Trump will be more in favor to end the war as
Hopefully, sir. Let's move on to Israel again. Sir, Israel says it has defeated Hezbollah, while Hezbollah vows that Israel will never win, claiming that it has resources for a long war. Does this mean that Lebanon is destined for an unceasing conflict?
Israel might have succeeded to eliminate the first line leaders in Hezbollah, but Hezbollah as an organization, I don't think that it's failed absolutely. As on daily basis we watch that the launching airstrikes in Al Jalil, Al Haifa, and sometimes in Tel Aviv, in addition to the inland engagement. But the idea of ending or eliminating the Hezbollah isn't acceptable in addition to what we are seeing in reality.
Sir, that was Omar El-Bustanji, a researcher in international relations. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable insights and informative knowledge. Next, we turn our attention to Baku, where COP29 opens today, gathering world leaders to confront critical climate challenges. As the COP29 opens in Baku, a headline in Forbes reads, COP29 asserting American energy leadership amid change. Despite skepticism over Azerbaijan's hosting and the absence of key nations, the return of climate finance to the agenda after 15 years is sparking hope. A major theme of the summit is supporting developing nations in a tough green transition. The United States must now balance domestic energy goals with global leadership, especially as China pushes its green tech influence. How America positions itself at the COP29 could shape the future of global climate action and energy security. Joining us from Baku is Ahmed Shididov, a journalist well-versed in international policy and environmental issues. A very good day, sir, and welcome to our show. Mr. Ahmed, thank you for joining us. And what are the most pressing challenges facing the COP29, especially with the United States delegation's limited authority given the current political developments?
Yes, thank you for having me in your program. Good evening and greetings from Baku, Azerbaijan. Today, the COP29 started in Baku, in the capital of Azerbaijan, and the most of leaders, presidents, and prime minister from tens of countries arrived yesterday from Baku, and the discussions were started in Baku. And this is very significant and the biggest event in the world that Azerbaijan has, and we are waiting for really important discussions and solutions, because the climate change affects all country, whole world, as well as Azerbaijan and other countries, European countries, and especially developed countries should increase the efforts to help the other countries to finance those countries who suffer from the climate change, because this is the common issue of the world, and the future of the next generation, the future of our planet depends on what's happening in climate change, in global warming. And as you mentioned, the world leaders arrived in Baku already, but unfortunately some countries, especially members of G7, including United States, Great Britain, and France, Germany, the top leaders of these countries rejected to take part to attend this conference. Only ministers and some
How
second
do you
level.
read this, sir, with the major leaders of the world not attending this convention?
There are some different reasons. The situation in some part of countries, they have some economic and political crisis. For example, in United States, the new elected President Donald Trump will take this duty only on January 2025. Today there are the disappointed situation, unclear situation, political situation in
Okay,
the United
sir,
States.
mentioning Donald Trump, then there's speculation that the United States may again withdraw from the Paris Agreement under a new Trump administration. How is this influencing discussions, especially among other major emitters, sir?
Of course, the situation in the situation is unclear because of the winning of Donald Trump in election in United States. The future of the planet still remains unclear. All countries, especially biggest countries, European countries, they are waiting for the decision that will make Donald Trump after coming to White House. So that's why I believe that Donald Trump will reject to and withdraw the United States from Paris Agreement, another major international agreements. But that's why this climate situation still remains unclear, and that's why the other countries' leaders, they rejected to come and join COP29 in Azerbaijan. The another reason is the
So, sir, are you
unclear.
disappointed about this?
Of course, Azerbaijan
It's very
is
disappointing.
disappointed. Yeah, of course, and this is only the first day, and we believe that other countries' leaders will come to Baku, because it will start to continue almost 2 weeks. And another reason is the mutual relations with Azerbaijan. For example, France and Azerbaijan has political crisis in mutual relations. That's why Macron rejected to come to Baku, as well as the president
So they both have regional problems together, France and
regional
Azerbaijan.
regional problem, as well as problem in mutual relation, because Paris and Baku accused each other last months because of the Karabakh victory of Azerbaijan in 2020. France supporting Armenia and cannot accept the victory of Azerbaijan in liberating its territory. There are some economic and political crises between some countries. And that's
Hopefully,
why
hopefully, sir, it will be resolved. But let's go back again to the climate finance accountability, which has emerged as a focal point, with India and other nations pushing for developed countries to honor their commitments. What is the outlook on this front, sir?
Of course, these climate issues, the out of the policy diplomacy. This is the common issue of our whole planet. All countries should give their support and effort for keeping our planet very safe, because global warming and climate changing threaten all countries, all world, and that's why we should forget these political crises, political relations, and should join our all efforts to keep our planet safe. And with the countries, especially the biggest countries, the members of G7, G20, they should increase their support, financial, political, administrative, all kind of supports to those countries who suffers from this climate change. We all observe the problem in our climate every day in different points of our planet. So that's why we should join our all efforts, and we believe that during the COP29 in Azerbaijan, the important decisions will be made, and the COP29 will remain at the historical event where the historical and significant decisions were made in Azerbaijan, because Azerbaijan prepared for a long time, almost 1 year for this event. Everything is perfect, organization, preparation, everything is perfect, and we believe that after this significant event, we will observe very important decision that made world leaders in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Thank you, sir, for your, of course, valuable insights and informative knowledge. As the COP29 progresses, the world watches closely, hoping for impactful decisions to address these urgent climate challenges. And now we move on to Riyadh, where the Arab-Islamic Summit is convening to address the ongoing crisis and forge a unified response to regional instability. الشرق الأوسط newspaper reports that the summit seeks to end the Israeli genocide in Gaza and the aggression against Lebanon, promotes state sovereignty, reduce regional escalation, and advance the path towards a two-state solution. Included in these efforts is support for the work of the United Nations Relief and Work Agency for Palestinian Refugees, along with condemnations of the Israelis' Knesset decision to ban its operations. The summit is also expected to reaffirm that the Palestine Liberation Organization is the sole legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. Additionally, a Palestinian state along the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital will likely be advocated for. And here with us to delve into the outcomes and implications of this summit is Ambassador Mohammed Higazi, former Assistant Foreign Minister of Egypt. Pleasure, sir, and a very the summit send to the international community regarding the situation in Gaza and Lebanon?
First of all, a consolidation of the Arab and Islamic position towards a solution to stop the genocide happening in Gaza and the destruction of southern Lebanon is imminent, and the Arab and Muslim world is standing firm to support the Palestinian cause and the territorial integrity of Palestine, calling for a two-state solution, and to put on the table of the new elected Republican President Donald Trump a very clear message that the Arab world and the Muslim world will not tolerate anymore the atrocities committed by the Israelis and the failure of the previous administration to introduce for many months any kind of compromise solution that will lead to the stoppage of this atrocities and endless war. The outcome is clear in front of us. We have on camera a genocide case, war criminals that are still in the ruling chair in Israel, and I think the failure they are facing in southern Lebanon have shown that there is no way out through military means, and the only
Sir, you're saying
way.
there's no way out. Do you see that actions, sir, could be turned, words could be turned into actions to stop this genocide and ethnic cleansing that's taking place in Gaza and, of course, all over the Middle East?
I agree with you. Yes, time has come to look towards the day after. I think the situation in Lebanon has become very clear, and the application or implementation of the UN Security Council Resolution 1701 is imminent. All the conditions are ripe for 1701 without an Israeli amendment, as it was proclaimed in the first tour or the first visit of the American envoy for Lebanon, Amos Hochstein, who tried in the first phase of his mission to call for certain Israeli amendments to 1701, but the firm position of the resistance of the Lebanese resistance forces, Hezbollah, in southern Lebanon have put.
Okay, sir, given Egypt's influential role in regional diplomacy, what might be Cairo's next steps in supporting these summit objectives and promoting an end to hostilities, sir?
I think Egypt's role, same as the Arab and Muslim countries, can consolidate the diplomatic positioning of the Arab and Muslim world behind the political and diplomatic solutions, behind the enforcement of law and order and the UN Security Council resolutions, and the compelling of Israel to respect international law and to respect the will of the international community as represented in the General Assembly latest decision on the unity of the Palestinian territory and the call for the two-state solution, as well as the second phase of the visit of Amos Hochstein to Lebanon, brought maybe some hope with the 1701 resolution without Israeli amendment. If that is the case, I think we can move towards the day after in Lebanon, where the Israeli-Lebanese border will be protected from the Lebanese side by the Lebanese army and the UNIFIL, the UN peacekeeping forces, and the Hezbollah can be integrated into the political life of Lebanon, aiming for the normalization of relations between the Lebanese parties, calling for the election of the president and to stop the stalemate that have put the Lebanese political life in freeze for many years.
Hopeful, sir, of course, for all you're asking for. This is not the first summit on these issues, sir. Yet challenges still remain. What obstacles do you foresee in translating this unity into actionable outcomes?
Well, I think it is our obligation towards our region. Benjamin Netanyahu was saying that he will shape the Middle East, not for such war criminals to say that. It is up to the Arab leaders and Muslim leaders to decide the fate of the region, Arabia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, and many others can call, and through you, Mona, call for maybe after we end with the day after in Gaza, which is based on a Palestinian token unity, where the Palestinian Authority will control the territorial unity and protectors of Palestine, being the West Bank and Gaza. And after the relief and the savior of the people living on the ground, after the humanitarian assistance.
Okay, sir, sorry, because I'm running out of time and I have to wrap up this episode. And of course, it's very, your informative knowledge is very important. Before I leave, sir, Ambassador? Okay, this was a technical problem, but not on our side. Thank you, Ambassador Mohammed Hagazi, for shedding light on the outcome of this critical summit. And we hopefully hope that the war ends as soon as possible and they reach a resolution as soon as possible. That wraps up our episode today for In Focus. Remember to stay updated by following Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at Qnews EG for the latest developments. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for more coming up here on Q News.